you ready for real, though?
Yeah.
Okay. You're not fucking
Yeah. Yeah?
No.
Oh, yeah. Sweat Equity podcast and streaming show, the #1 Arbitron-rated comedy podcast, business podcast in the world.
Newsflash, asshole!
Hey, Glenn, take it easy. Pragmatic entrepreneurial advice with real raw dog talk for you raw dog and doggers out there.
Still don't know what it means.
I don't know either. 2020's best small, medium enterprise business advisory podcast winner in the United States, thanks to Lex Global Excellence Awards. A little humble brag. How about another humble brag? 2021's best podcast and streaming entertainment studio for the Eastern USA Media Innovator Awards 2020, hosted by Corporate Vision Magazine. You heard that right. We already won this year's.
It's over. Stop trying.
Right?
All I needed was 7 months.
It's like being a baseball player. We get it at the half, baby.
Yeah.
Listen to us on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon Podcasts, anywhere podcasts are listened to. Your mom's Sony Walkman that's got all that crud on it. Dry her away. Yeah. Yeah. Right next to her tampons in her purse.
Ew.
Rate, subscribe, review. That's the cheat code that gets us up the podcast rankings. I'm going to switch up our ads for this episode since it's just solo. And by solo, I mean just the two of us.
Yeah.
We're alone together. Yeah. You like that?
Yeah. That's the name of our book.
ExpressVPN, if you want a virtual private network, go to tryexpressvpn.com/sweat. Gets you 3 months free off an annual plan. Grasshopper, the entrepreneur's phone line. It's a little app. Have a second phone line. Compartmentalize your business life with your life life. Try grasshopper.com/sweat. 75 bones off an annual plan. And Warby Parker, warbyparkertrial.com/sweat. Prescription sunglasses, eyeglassware. Don't get ripped off by big glass. 5 free pairs to try on at home. warbyparkertrial.com/sweat. Let's get this shit show going.
What about
Howdy
my sweat
time.
equity? Sweat equity. Sweat equity. My sweat equity. My sweat equity. What about my sweat equity?
For those watching on YouTube, Facebook,
Which is nobody on YouTube.
negligent,
I don't even think I upload them to YouTube anymore.
we might need to get back to doing
On
that.
the website.
I'll take care of it.
Vimeo looks better.
Oh, I agree. But no one stumbles upon anything on Vimeo. You know, I was looking up on Upwork last night. Here's actually a business pragmatic tip before I get into how sleep deprived, teetotaling I am today.
Okay.
And this is going to be a silly one. I was on Upwork last night because I was like, all right, I got to at least pretend to myself to get this show out there a little bit more.
Sure.
But I was like, the YouTube SEO is a beast. It is a monolith. I think I might call our previous guest from about 3 months ago, Dan Kurtz, to come back on. Maybe 2 months ago. Whatever it is.
Not even.
He's got some SEO wizardry. I'm a little bit rusty in that game because I haven't had to execute that part of a service for any clients or anything for a while now. I'm like an old, seasoned, grizzled vet.
Sure. Yeah. I know how you did it in the 50s.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, yeah, you kids listen to
I don't know.
mumble rap?
Yeah, YouTube SEO.
I listen to hip-hop.
It's a whole nother thing, you know?
It's
like,
its
I don't
own deal.
know anything about it.
And I feel bad. I just kept, like a lot of stuff, like, I'm going to personally budget. I know I need to do it, and I avoid it, and then I have to do it last second, and it never works out.
Yeah, budgeting last second doesn't make any sense.
Well, I got
Purpose.
I got it in my head, but just like I was telling you,
cram and budget.
well, just like I was telling you with the MyFitnessPal app, like I'm relatively healthy kind of guy, but when I started doing that diligently and then go, okay, I paid $10 for the app, so now I'm going to use this.
Yes,
because I am cheap on that level.
Your app cheap.
Yeah, well, I go, I'm going to commit myself to just a week of just putting shit in. It's not that hard. It's just like not getting caught up with other shit that doesn't matter, right?
Sure.
And getting in the habit of like, when I eat something, just put it in. Not a big deal.
Oh, you're putting your food in too.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. MyFitnessPal is mostly about the food you're eating. And it's like, and you can put a goal. So I was like, I want to get under 183 by, the end of Q3 of this year.
So funny you think of it that way.
Quarters?
End of
Because
Q3?
I'm a businessman.
Right. Well, what are you at
I'm an
now?
oil man.
What are you at now?
I before vacation, I was 186. Now I'm scared to weigh myself. Again, avoidance, right?
Right.
I don't
we'll
want to look
go get
at
the
it.
scale after this. We'll see what's up.
All of us have a little bit of avoidance issues. Like you had the friends in college that wouldn't get an STD check because they just didn't want to know the results.
Sure.
And you're like, that's fucking terrible for you and the other
Yeah.
people.
I thought you were going to say they were a terrorist.
The
That's what
penis
you are.
terrorist.
Right. Yeah, you're a sexual terrorist.
SEAL Team 6 in that
Yeah.
vagina.
Yeah.
Just laying
C4.
Yeah.
I don't know.
sticky
We're gonna
bombs
go
is
over
where I was
that,
going. But we all have those issues, and those are the things like this year. It's not like really a goal, but like got to knock out the radio noise and really just focus on what's important, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which sounds corny or oversimplistic, but that thing of like, all right, am I going to watch every episode of Hacks, or maybe I'll on HBO Max, which is great. I love
Hacks on HBO Max.
it. Yeah. Which
I had never heard of until today.
right.
Check it out.
There's too many shows, right? And Rare is a show that I actually really enjoy and like to sit down and don't second screen. That one I like that much.
Oh, you actually watch it and pay attention to it.
Right. Yeah.
Weird.
Right. I still stretch and stuff, but
Well, that's
I need to do something.
light
But
years beyond most people.
super glue, broken stuff, little stuff around the house. But I was on Upwork and I was like, I never really utilized this as much as I should have. And I was trying to price it out last night. How much is this going to cost? Oh, I'll throw a marketing budget for this show instead of me pretending like I'm going to do it. And clearly I failed.
Right. Come to grips with it.
Well, after we get done with the episodes, you do a lot of effort, to get everything up and published.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right, I'm going to equal that effort. And then I get home and it's just like I'm a fucking feral dog and forget immediately
Yes, exactly.
that we even did this episode.
I know. Yeah, me too. Once it's published, it's for me. I put the one clip out this past week from our last episode.
Yeah.
That was, and then you look
When
at
you were
our
wasted? Yeah.
Instagram. Was I?
I want the listeners to go back to that episode and tell me you're not wasted.
I want them to go back to any episode over the past year.
Fair.
And see
Fair. But
Just kidding.
But even
Not
more
really.
so.
Yeah.
Well, this is a comedy show, so if
Right, so none of
any
it's real.
family law attorneys are listening,
Ain't nothing real about it.
this is all
I'm a
farcical.
Mormon in real life. I'm Mormon.
Well, before I forget, pragmatic tip for this episode: Upwork's great. The hard part is figuring out how to manage those people and how to actually search for them. Quality, cost, delivery. Always look at that. Reviews. I got this extension on Chrome that'll show fake reviews on Amazon.
Ooh,
Dude,
what is that?
so much garbage.
All right, well, you need to get that
I'll
name
find
of
it.
that extension out because
gonna-
that's something people want to hear.
Gonna take me a minute. It's called Fake Spot Fake Amazon Reviews.
Huh? That's
Real,
cool.
real up in front kind of title there, but
Right.
everything that's like, it's like I got a bed frame. I'm like, I know this thing is pretty much made in China. Probably a couple kids died making it, kind of thing, because they're expendable. And it's $89 or whatever.
Yeah.
And the comparable stuff in a store is $300.
Right.
You got to assemble it.
There's something
big
missing.
whoop. And then I was like, I'm going to go back and look at previous purchases I had and see how well this works.
Uh-huh.
And it's like everything that was dog shit, like the bed frame, fucking fake reviews.
Yeah.
And everything that was like on an MCT oil, right? Like
Sure.
reputable company, fucking
Diarrhea
legit.
sauce.
Yeah, dude, big time. Came out black.
Plan your day.
Came out black
What?
at vacation. Yeah, might have some internal bleeding, maybe anemia. Who
Yeah.
knows? Yeah,
You have an ulcer. That's not good.
I know. I've had the internal bleeding before, so I know you get a little acute pain. I haven't told you that
Well,
from building houses in Mexico like a goddamn hero.
what are you talking about right now?
I became anemic. So I'm 24, 25, live in LA. the church my friends went to, that I'd pretend to go to like 6 times a year just because I was a loser and didn't have anything to do. So I was like, well, this is free. I'll go to church with them.
Everyone doing them donuts today?
Yeah, you got bagels?
Yeah.
That's the synagogue.
I can
that's,
set them
that's
up
Friday.
ahead of time. You guys want me to go over there and set that shit up for you? Well, you guys still do your church thing, and I'll go set up all them donuts, all that.
I got my Friday nights. I got my Sunday mornings. I got the Catholic church with Wednesday spaghetti night, prayer night.
Right.
So you just, when you're super poor, LA, like all my rent would just go from one check I got paid, be like, oh, cool. $1,300 for a shitty apartment. Mm-hmm. This is 2008.
Right.
But I do like volunteering. You do
for housing.
You do as well though. I think we're acts of service kind of thing. I like kind of doing something with my hands every now and again like that. And it was like you pre-build a house the week before, and then the next Friday after work, you drive down in those white church vans that the churches dominate that van. You know what I'm talking about? Like the 13-seater.
Those in high school basketball teams.
Just dominate that.
Yeah.
They got the market share corner.
What else do you need it for? Well, Mormons actually, now that I think about it, might need those. But other than that.
Yeah, if you got a cult or a compound, you're really you're living off the grid kind of stuff for sure.
Get the vans. You're going to need them.
So you drive down from LA to Ensenada, Mexico, which is you can go through Tijuana, which is depressing, or do the cool one, go through Tecate, but it takes longer. Kind of depressing too. Ensenada, super depressing. They don't have running water. They don't really have electricity in these towns. So you're coming in with a pickup truck with a pre-built house on it, and then you just spend one day on a Saturday just building a house, which is cool as fuck. Like,
right, sure, that's
there's
great.
something really like cathartic and satisfying about it.
Sure.
However, I like for dinner they eat cactus. Like they grow cactus on the side of the hill in a lot of poor areas because that's all they can get. And I was like,
that was a thing.
It didn't taste bad going down, honestly. Yeah, right. It seems odd. It seems
out,
really strange.
It's spiky.
They take the spikes off, but
thank God.
It's kind of like a harder celery, I want to say.
Ooh, sounds amazing.
Not great, but like you know what you signed up for. I'm not like
celery,
hey, where the
worse.
fuck are the pizza rolls, bitch? Like I know what we're doing. Now, a little white cheese sauce, some chips maybe. We're in Mexico. Come on.
Sure.
Also, side note to this story, a month before I did this, I got hit by a car coming out of a pharmacia. Really fucked up in Ensenada.
Why is this the first time I'm hearing about
I've definitely
this?
told you this story before.
Okay, well.
And my buddy, I came on a wine tour birthday party, and I only knew the guy my friend that brought me. And so I know no one else, and everybody's like coupled up pretty much. My friend immediately finds some chick, and I'm just solo walking around like pharmacia, and then fucking get clipped by like a Tercel and just like lay out on the car.
Wow.
Yeah. And I tried to shake it off because I was like almost like a little drunk embarrassed, like, oh no, that's my fault.
Yeah.
Well, there's no rules like in some of these towns.
No, there's no rules.
They're just right. But it is like you feel like there's lawlessness of like the outback. Not to bring that back to that, but
yeah, we get it.
Started in Tampa. You build the house, you eat the cactus, and then I was working at a mutual fund company. I was doing stand-up every night I could. And then on Monday nights, I was doing 3-hour improv classes at the Groundlings.
Okay.
So this is after we built the house, came back. We pat ourselves on the back. We're fucking heroes. America rules. You're welcome, Mexico. All that stuff. Really, really being gracious about doing it.
Right.
So get back to LA, and like the next couple of weeks, I'm doing a lot, and I think I'm getting an ulcer from stress because I'm doing too much, right?
Sure.
My Mondays were work 8 to 10 hours in Santa Monica, drive only like 7 miles to West Hollywood to get to the Groundlings Classic. 7.
2 hours.
Takes 2 hours for sure. And it's bumper to bumper the whole fucking way.
That's rad.
and I'm a grunt at work, so I got no way to be like, hey, if I come in earlier, can I leave earlier? They're like, fuck, what? What'd you just say to
You
me?
leave before
I should
5
just
and you're
fire.
fired.
Yeah, I should just fire you. Yeah, I worked in a mutual fund company. Every guy acted like an alpha on Wolf of Wall Street. Like,
Oh, that's cool. That's a
you're
great.
like,
That's a nice.
these things move
relaxing
like 10
environment.
years. Like,
Yeah.
we're the risky mutual funds, but that's like being the fucking loosest prude at the church. I don't know.
The loosest. Yes.
I couldn't. I was trying to think of something paradoxical.
Okay.
All right,
I got you.
let's stay the course. So I get this
You're
pain.
shitting blood.
No,
Not yet.
Probably at the same time, I'm getting this pain that if you take like a Phillips head, flathead screwdriver,
Which one is it? Phillips or flat?
flat. Sorry. And kind of start like if you started to push it into your abdomen, but not to the point where it breaks the skin, just to the point where it kind of
Yes.
hurts. That's the best way I could explain it.
Really?
Yeah, I had this like like a pain like that throughout the day at work, and I didn't know I was anemic, which chicks don't care, by the way, if you tell them that, because a lot of them become anemic all the time because they bleed.
Yes.
I'm just saying, like,
What did you
get
expect them to do?
you get no sympathy anyway, but right, you get no sympathy anyway from chicks because they're like, we're secretly tougher, which I kind of agree with because we're not putting babies out of our taint. That's where they come out of.
Where they call you poop them out.
Well, they open up the taint sometimes, yeah.
Taint opens itself.
This is a business podcast, and so
There's hospitals are businesses.
yeah, there's
businesses.
all on this story. There's businesses, and so
Pharmacia.
well, I didn't know you hadn't heard this or don't remember it. So this is a good long tale. So I got what's it called? I was like, fuck, dude. I think I'm getting. Am I so stressed? But I'm sitting at a fucking desk all day, right? Basically doing Excel formulas for like reports and shit, like grunt work shit. Not great, but I'm not really doing much, right? And then those Mondays were brutal because there's 3 hours and fucking improv class is the best thing to do in your life at some point, but also the fucking worst, like,
Yeah.
while you're in it.
Sure.
Like,
Well, I
everybody
mean-
really sucks.
Yeah, it's an attitude thing.
Yeah, and I try to come in like a stand-up, like, I'm a fucking stand-up, bro. Like, I know what I'm doing, because it's the opposite of stand-up.
Right.
So you really have to come in blank.
Yeah.
All it did was tell me I don't have a lot of life experience. I'd get in a scene and be like, I don't know how to finish this court case that we're doing. Like, wait, I forgot who's
My
the
dad's a
prosecutor. Yeah. I was like,
Dad.
well, everything I'd have to think about for two beats, and it would like kill a scene.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you gotta just be in it.
But then when I cleared my brain out, I was okay at doing it. I only did it to get better at stand up.
Sure.
But it teaches you how to yes and. I tell everybody like that ask, or I just tell them anyway and they don't ask, which is most of it. Everybody should take an improv class if they don't like small talk or public speaking. The two
Sure.
things you get out of it, no cocktail parties, boring really.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're building characters out of people you don't know yet.
Yeah.
And you're trying to yes and a lot of stuff, and it keeps conversations positive. And that became like almost a secret tool to talk into prospective clients or current clients and stuff like that later.
I mean, we do it all the time.
Right. I mean, radio is like the yes and kind of
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
unless you're sports radio or political talk or something.
Yeah.
Well, they gin up
Yes,
the
and that
argument.
shit too. Yeah.
Yes and but I think is actually the rule. Anyway, so doing the Groundlings classes, fucking suck at it, and like really like have no energy. Just I'm 24. I shouldn't be like I'm like dogging it. It looks like I ran laps like every break we had for improv class or for work. I'm just like, oh, what the fuck is wrong with me? I'm drinking canteens of Monster to kind of offset how shitty I feel. Well, I had no. I
That's
didn't
good for internal bleeding too.
I didn't know it was internal. I didn't know it was internally bleeding because my poop wasn't really dark black or any red in it, and so it was like a guy that dips but doesn't spit it out. Ugh. My body was just absorbing it, I think. Ugh. So I go to a colonoscopy, or I go to the doctor. I'm 24, getting a colonoscopy, which is rad. Oh wait, before that, capsulitic endoscopy.
What's that?
Remember the movie with Dennis Quaid, Martin Short, Inner Space?
They shrink down and go inside the body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So think that this is 2008. They go, okay, we have a pill with a camera in it. So you don't have it. This might help you avoid getting an endoscopy or colonoscopy.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, fuck yeah. I'd way rather do that.
Oh, fuck yeah, doc.
Dude, than a colonoscopy.
Yeah,
I will
I
go into
know.
this colonoscopy story. But so all I can think is I got Martin Short in me, and I have like a big WWF champ belt at work all day that has like lights and shit. And they're like, this is UCLA doctors, can't figure it out. They're like, I don't know. You're gonna have to get an endoscopy. I'm like, so you got to go under and do that. That sucks. Balls.
Endoscopy is what, through your mouth?
Esophageal. Yeah. They shove the fucking camera down your throat.
Ugh,
Yeah.
that shit
You got to
sucks.
be knocked out to do it, I think.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because you'll gag.
Yeah. And so
You might not.
that sucks. Health insurance, not great. Or it's okay, but it's still whatever the pay after Dimensional Fund Advisors gave for their health insurance or whatever sucks for me because I have no extra cash. So I'm just like, okay, I guess I'll get an extra job after, I don't know, I'll work on the weekends and be a busboy. I'm at that point, right?
After my ulcer goes away.
Right, and I have no energy, so I'm just like, I have no fucking idea what I'm going to do. I'm just like rudderless kind of thing. Still getting this pain. Get a colonoscopy. This was my closer for a long time. I'm not going to do the whole story, but getting colonoscopy is fucking crazy because they give you this solution. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know, no one told me that you're going to fucking shit your brains out.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you went to Mexico and drank the water.
Sure, yeah.
Right? And so I drink it. I'm 10 miles away from my place.
Oh, good.
Like I drank it coming back from a stand-up show. I was like, I'll get on the 10 and I'll get it on the way on the 10. Right before I get on the 10, I'll go to like a Walgreens and grab it. So I drank it because that's what I'm instructed to do the night before. And then fucking whatever reason, sometimes in LA there's just traffic at night. It's unpredictable. And you're like, why the fuck are there people out at night on the 405 and 10? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to shit my car. And I fucking went in the emergency lane. I was like, I don't care if I get pulled over. This is what I said in the act out bit I used to have. I was like, if I get pulled over, I'll just fucking prove it. I'll just shit right in front of them.
Sure.
Like a baby with diarrhea in their diaper, it just shoots up their back.
Yeah.
I'll lift up my shirt over my head like a hockey fight and just shit and just go, look, this is.
I'm a little baby.
I wasn't fucking around, dude.
Yeah.
It's a mudslide.
I mean, yeah, if there's no stopping it, there's no stopping it.
Now, here's the weird thing. Feels awesome after your butthole gets too dry or wet. I can't remember. It's one extreme or the other after shitting for so long.
Okay.
You're on the toilet for like 3 hours.
Okay.
No one tells you this.
Should I be moistening my butthole?
Well, you're going to have to get a colonoscopy one day. Like,
Oh, yeah?
I think it's like 45, age 45 guys have to do it.
My
Maybe
dad had
four-
colon cancer.
Maybe you're
I'm
going to
have to
be
do it
40, right?
Soon.
So
I get them for fun.
Well, you do feel like, oh, I'm pretty cleaned out, right?
Yeah. Feel fast. Spry.
Yeah, I don't believe in those colonic people that tell you like you carry around 3 pounds of shit all the time.
Yeah, the
And I'm
colonic
like,
people-
That's there for a reason. Fuck.
Right, exactly. You get a colonic, and then you go out and you get sick as a fucking dog because you've got no gut bacteria to protect yourself.
Remember the guy
Congrats.
we worked with was telling us about coffee
Oh
enemas?
yeah, coffee enemas, huh?
Dude, that guy.
Yeah, that was interesting.
He could listen to this podcast.
Good.
Look,
What up, Steve?
I told him he was
Don't give a
fucking
shit.
crazy in
Yeah.
the moment. I was like, he's like, yeah, so I put my legs akimbo and I hover over the toilet, get a turkey baster or whatever the fuck he said, and just
Yeah, same guy that changed in front of me my first day of work in my office after working at. He's like, "Oh, is this your
like a
office now?"
55-year-old guy.
I'm like, "Yeah, this is my office. I know you didn't know it was my office. Now you can finish your workout or whatever." Leaves. He's walking around the office in his gym clothes, right?
Yeah.
And then goes out like so. Obviously, he could have picked up his clothes and taken them to the bathroom to change there because he was fine walking around in his gym clothes. No, he did. He changed right in front of me in my office for no reason.
Like within 3 hours of being there, right?
oh yeah, right away.
And the best part about those guys is they think you're weird because you think it's weird.
Right. It's a big deal, bro.
Right. It's like, if you bring it up, you'd be like offended. You're like, why'd
Yeah.
you just change in here? You'd
Right.
be like, what are you, like homophobic?
And
dude?"
it was even
like, what?
And then it was like retroactive seeing the dudes, like the way he was acting, the guy, the people was hanging
That's
out. Was like,
fine.
oh, it's even creepier now. I look back.
Look, we just don't like when people hide it. You can be up front, be cool.
Yeah.
We don't like that Lance Bass is trying to keep it from us. Now we know we did not care as soon as he told us.
Be gay with them, be straight with us.
Go to the fucking moon. We don't care. But we're like, we know something. Anyway, so colonoscopy. My buddy Adam Brown's in town visiting me that weekend for work. And then there's a 6-man volleyball tournament. So, which is like basically like think of a volleyball tournament in Manhattan Beach mixed with like Mardi Gras. It's like fucking wild. It's awesome.
Okay.
Pineapple Express sponsor our team of fucking degenerates.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I have Pineapple Express board shorts.
It's just a weird coincidence from earlier today that
Oh,
I'll keep to myself.
right. And anyway, so he picks me up, and it's what I'm like, dude, I'm fucking starving. I've never eaten more fast food in one like sitting, because you wake up and you're like,
Did you shit in your car? How did that go?
oh no, I didn't shit. I shit my pants a little bit. I think I threw away those boxers. You just kind of make an executive decision sometimes on that.
Yes.
I sweat already a lot, and you're like, it's pretty moist down there most times, so it's like, well, I'm not even gonna fucking.
Yeah, you just lie to yourself. That's just sweat down there.
Well, look, I got a huge ass, and with great ass responsibility or great ass power comes great ass responsibility.
Yes.
That's Spider-Man's
Spider-Man.
ass. So
No
do
asshole.
all this. UCLA doctors, some of the best in like gastro, whatever, fucking don't know what's up still. And I'm like, what the fuck? They're like, we can see you're bleeding. I'm
After
like,
the
cool.
colonoscopy?
But you can see I'm bleeding. Awesome.
So this is after all the scopies.
All three things.
Okay.
Capsulytic, which was the pill, the Martin Short pill, interspace style, or Dennis Quaid. Well, I forget which one's which in that movie. Dennis Quaid's the pilot.
Okay.
What's it called? The endoscopy, which is oral,
Through the throat.
and then rectum.
Right up there.
And they lean you over on the side right before you pass out, and you're like, "Oh, I feel so vulnerable."
Yeah.
Like they don't have to do that part. They can wait till I pass out
Yeah.
in like 5 minutes.
Put the music on.
I'm like, they're like, "Can you lean over and then take your
What's the
your
worst
gown,
song to hear?
your gown and like just chasse it over your knees or whatever?"
What's the worst song to hear right before you go out before your colonoscopy? I don't know. I don't have one. I'm just
You're throwing it out
from the
there.
improv game.
It's got to be. Man, Ace of Base was my first thought. I don't know why.
What song is that?
I saw the sign. I don't know. I think I just find them annoying.
Yeah, well, that's what you're looking for.
Either really cheer
I don't know,
up music.
I thought "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor."
Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, what about Rammstein?
Du hast
Yeah,
Rammstein.
because everybody older than us freaked us out our whole life about you go under and it's scary. It is, but
Oh
it's,
yeah.
the stats are not nearly as much as the fear we've been fed in that.
Yeah.
There's a possibility, and it can happen. That's why anesthesiologists get paid a lot, but it's not as like driving is way more dangerous.
Sure. Yeah.
Anyway, so go. I'm toughing it out as best I can. Go back to the improv class. My teacher, because Michaela Watkins was my teacher originally, she went to SNL during my class session. What up, Michaela? And super nice chick. The backup to her was a gal named Lisa Shurga, who's still with the Sunday Company at Groundlings. Super funny. She goes, you look like you're fucking dying. And I'm like, I am. Told her what's going on. She's like, I had this exact same thing. And I was like, what? And she's like, go to Trader Joe's. And like, she wrote down like 6 things of vitamins to get. I was like, I'll fucking do it. I will like suck Trader Joe's dick. Like I will do anything. Got the 6 vitamins she told me to get. Fucking like 3 days later, fine.
Wow. I thought the end of that would be way more.
I mean,
hard hitting, but
I could have.
so the important thing is don't trust doctors. Don't go to the doctor. Don't listen to them. They don't know what they're doing.
That's a good point. I do think a lot lately. While I was on vacation, I thought a lot about what we think is going to happen and what actually happens. Right?
Yeah.
I don't want to do this because that's going to happen. And then when you do it, when you have to do it anyway, what really wasn't shit.
Yeah, it's never as bad.
Right? It's part of that avoidance thing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Way to bring it back around.
See? Look at Johnny No Sleep doing it. Well, how much time we got?
Minutes.
I'll tell you about the shout out to our former guest, Robbie Slowick, getting married.
Oh, yeah. You didn't even... Oh, man. That's what I wanted to hear about is you
We got
embarrassing yourself in front of the other
We got
comedians.
plenty of time. So,
Not at that clip of storytelling.
well, so Robbie, great guest when he came on. He's a writer for Jon Stewart and Andrew Schultz. Not Schultz.
Has one of my favorite bits about the American flag and the national anthem. Check it out on YouTube. Watched it the other day.
The Mark Wahlberg joke too. Mark Wahlberg was like, if I was supposed to be on that 9/11 flight.
Oh, I don't. That's not in the. I don't think I was in the set I was watching.
It's a great setup. Like, and Mark Wahlberg's like, I would have taken care of business. He's like, what?
Yeah.
What? As the ashes are burning, you're talking shit about like what you would have done.
Right.
You're like armchair quarterback on
Maybe
it.
leave it to Robbie.
I'm giving you the. It's a longer bit.
I know, but I know you're not going to do.
He
the
doesn't.
bit.
He doesn't even do it anymore.
Oh, okay. We'll steal it from him.
No, we don't. No cover bands in comedy. That's not right.
Yeah.
Been listening to Kevin Meaney.
Kevin Meaney.
Dude, guy fucking crushed.
Yeah, back in the 90s.
So funny still. I watched it the other night.
Is it? From the 90s?
It might be nostalgic for me. I don't know.
Tell you what, I put Amazing Jonathan was on.
Dude, so underrated.
Underrated, but he did a joke. His opening joke was something that
No, I love it. I know what it is.
What?
Is it the Comedy Central half hour?
No, this was on Netflix recently, a new one.
Oh, really?
I think so.
I knew his old opener.
What were you thinking?
He goes, I'm a magician, so I'm going to make a bird appear. And he would get a handkerchief and dance it over his other hand. And then he'd go to the person in the front row and then flick him off.
Yeah.
I was like, that is all. But opening jokes are so tough because that's like a brand name almost. Like that is like, we got to get everything. I want you to understand who I am in this first joke if you don't know who I am.
Sure, right. And the thing that he did was something, it's like a saying I'll say where he did the thing where it's like, he's got the assistant, the dumb blonde assistant. She's like, it hurts when I push here, push here, push here, push here. And he's like, oh, your finger's broken. That joke. Like, I'll say that as like, your finger's broken. Like, when it's like,
joke.
it's on you. Like, when you've done something wrong, I'll say that all the time.
Gotcha.
And then he had that as opening on Netflix. I was like, I turned it off.
I buy it. Well,
kind of tough to sit there and be like, oh, is that how this is going to be? Like, this is like an...
Did you watch the documentary on him?
No.
It's fucking amazing. Steve Byrne directed it, another stand-up, because he was like, this guy doesn't get enough respect. I think he almost died recently, so I'll give that a pass if he had a bad stroke. And he's like,
maybe, and he forgot all his.
He is a Vegas act though, like stuff
I'm sure,
plays.
Yeah. No, he's definitely a good entertainer. All that, just that one special to open with that, I was like, oh no.
But like that Comedy Central half hour where he looks like he's just on
Yeah.
more cocaine than Sam Kinnison's ever seen.
Yeah, the
You know?
biggest eyes of all time.
Right.
Yeah.
A headband and a suit on.
Yep.
No tie, just the shirt, 90s style.
Yep.
So, shit. So our friend Robbie, who grew up here, I have a lot of non-comedian mutual friends with him. So I'm in this weird. I just told everybody it's like a Jewish summer camp that turned into a resort. So think like every meal's like in the barn and like there's not a lot of places to go on the property really. And if you go outside the property, you could get clipped by a car kind of thing.
Yep.
So it's in Big Indian, New York, near Catskills, near Borscht Belt area.
Okay.
And as I'm reading about Jackie Mason dying, the sign pops up of the Catskills. He is the Catskills, essentially. And I remember, I told you, that was the worst gig I've ever had in my life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And when my dad and his three best friends came too and sat in the fifth row, and I could see their
Last chance you ever had with your old man.
Comedy's tough, buddy. They're like,
Oh.
you really gave it your all. It's not your audience. I was like, you know what? This is not my audience.
You went to college, didn't you?
I shouldn't
You'll
have
have
been
something
on
to
this
fall
bill.
back on.
These people are 80. And then Jackie Mason gets up and he goes, like just gibberish, Yiddish shit, fucking crushes. Like,
Crushed it, I'm
like
sure.
people like in the aisles, like Def Jam, but they're all 80-year-old white people.
Yeah.
So up in Big India, New York, and like, so I'm in this weird kind of position where it's a resort. There's glamping tents for, I guess, guys like me that are solo.
You want to pretend to camp?
First thing I get in my glamping tent, there is a tick right on the pillow.
Oh, good. Yeah, New York's bad for ticks,
And I was
dude.
like, oh, dude, I forgot about ticks out here.
Yeah.
I was like, and I don't sleep. I sleep like Anne Frank already. So like, if I think there's something on me, I'll be like a meth head all night. So
Right.
I had to take some edibles.
Did you have to sleep in the tent?
Oh, well, so Robbie assigned it to me, but I would have asked for it anyway. Because when are you going to get a glamping tent on a wedding? It was a Monday wedding, like.
Yes.
So
I mean,
it was
all
already
of this
weird.
is very odd.
There was a black bear around the property. So
For fun? Just release it?
What do you think a black bear is doing? A cub? It was a cub, but what do you think they're doing when they're around people looking for food?
Exactly.
And I was like, oh, that's why all the food's in that one centralized area, and you can't get anything
Suspended
else.
above everything. Yeah.
You can't get any other food on the property anywhere else because bears will fuck you up.
Yes. Yeah.
I had Screwball peanut butter whiskey, didn't even open it because by the time I heard about that, I was like, well, I don't want a bear.
I think you would have been okay.
I was just like, I don't know.
It doesn't actually smell like peanut butter.
Well, they wouldn't let me take the bottle to any other part of the property later. So it was like, what am I going to fucking put this in a 7-Eleven cup or something? And like,
Well, they probably just didn't want some guy walking around with a liquor bottle in his hand, just being that guy.
so it's like a event space that has its own bar for the events they host. So like you're taking away a little bit from them.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I think it was really more like we don't want broken glass in this property because it's nice. And then the other part of like animals might think it's food or whatever. I don't know. Not good for the environment. How about that?
Okay.
Not very camp-like. So
Better for the story.
yeah,
You
yeah,
went
yeah.
out, fought a
Well, so
bear.
when I got
Sick.
I'm not fucking Teddy Roosevelt, dude. When
We know.
I wish. I when I got there, I did the traveling move where you try to work out as soon as you get there because that fucking one of the best tips I've ever heard when you travel. Just go work out immediately when you
Right.
get there because you feel like your body's like what just
It's
the
not
fuck
natural
just
to
happened?
sit
Yeah.
there, dude. In an airplane, there's like another level added of tension. No matter what, no matter if you're, it's just like you just are just locked in. You got to get them wiggles out.
So my buddy Chris and his wife are across the aisle from me. It's a Southwest direct flight to Albany. I'm like, I'm on vacation. I'm taking an edible. I'm gonna see if I can pass out. I fell asleep without my mask on, and they woke me up and were like, "Sir, you have to put that on." I'm like, I look to my left and right, and everyone's got like food next to them, but not eating. I'm just like, God damn it, dude! What are we doing?
It is so dumb. I mean, either make it. You got to wear it the whole time. No food, nothing. Don't or just fucking like.
And then I had an awesome dad joke. He was like, "Did they wake you up because you didn't have your mask on?" My buddy said. I was like, "No, I had a boner in these umbrellas." They're like, "Sir, you got to put that away."
Yeah, I don't know if that's a dad joke.
It's a
Dad jokes
It's
are-
a grimy joke.
Directed at children.
Well, it's church giggles because you shouldn't be saying that on a flight where a lot of people can hear you.
Yes.
I'm saying it across the hall to him or across the aisle.
Nah, I had a boner.
No, dude. I was like, dude, it's a boner. She told me to put it away. She's not impressed either. So basically went to a wedding with two comedians. I've been there. I told him, hey, you think it's sweet now, right? Like I tell you, I'm the ghost of Christmas future, bitch.
Oh, don't do that to people.
I didn't do that. I did it to Robbie jokingly
It's
like
only to me.
2 years ago, like as a joke. His wife is fucking hilarious. Her family's awesome, out of the Bay Area. Her whole family's like a silly family, like performers kind of type.
Good.
Like don't have any like ego about like going on stage with wigs during the roast toast.
Yeah, good.
Love that. I love a
Yeah.
family like that. Like
Don't
totally
take
doesn't
things
care.
too seriously.
Right. And so there was a roast toast thing. They did it like an open mic. You could have signed up for it. I'm looking at the list. I'm like, dude, there's some heavy hitters on this
Murderers.
shit. And plus, I'm like kind of the Drexel, the bubble team guest, you know?
Yeah, you had to play another 16 seed to get in.
I know Robbie really well, but we became friends way later when he started stand-up, and we just happened to have a lot of mutual friends we grew up with. And then Casey, I've only hung out with 5 times. She's got a podcast called Shady Shit. Robbie's podcast, Edgelords.
Yes.
The dude he hosted with, fucking murdered.
Yeah.
He's like, he got up and was like, you know, I don't know about her. She's like Portuguese or something. Like, and everyone was like, what the fuck, dude? He was wearing like a military jacket, and everyone was like, was he in the military? Like that kind of guy?
Yeah.
Like super strange. You would have loved him.
Oh, man.
What's it called? And so my buddy Nick Hoff pats me on the back. During the roast, I didn't know he was coming up. Used to tour with him. He was just on our show 4 months ago, something like that. Maybe a year ago. I don't know. Everything's confusing now.
Yeah, I believe you.
It was in this room. That's all I can remember. This studio.
Yes. So
catching up with him, go to the ceremony. He just filmed his special in Nebraska, by the way, and it looks awesome. So Nick and I are talking after the wedding ceremony, which both their vows are fucking murdered. And they're trying to one-up each other, too.
Yeah.
Like, Robbie had a whole printed sheet out, right? And he's like, oh, this isn't vows. This is prenup. Like, fucking levels the whole room or the outside little area we're in. And I'm walking with my buddy Nick Hoff, another comic. We're walking out of there. Everybody has to, like, walk to the barn or whatever the fuck. And it's like, I see Paul. He goes, oh, hey, Paul. And it's Paul Verzi, who's, I'm a big fan of his stand-up. He does it. I listen to his podcast with Bill Burr and Paul Verzi called Is There Anything Better? And they start every episode listing off, this is episode number 20. Here are the great number 20s in sports.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, dude, I love that. I'm a dork. I listen to it. I've sent y'all's podcast to like a bunch of angry Italian dads I'm friends with. And he's like, that's sick, man. That's awesome. And then I felt like I was like, okay, fanboyed out a little bit. And Hoff's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, fucking be cool. Like, giving me that face? No, he didn't say it. He's just like,
oh, it's good. I can't imagine him saying anything.
No, but
like
he's
that.
giving me like, cool it. You sound like you've never done stand up. Like you don't know how to act around people that you really like admire or or a fan of.
Right.
I don't really care that much, but I just think it's funny because Nick was right next to me. So it was like giving me this like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Like, hold it together. We're walking up to eat dinner or whatever, or the cocktail hour. And the 2 girls from Guys We Fucked are walking right next to us. Mm-hmm. And I was like, hey,
also a big fan of your podcast.
No, this is 30 seconds after the Paul Verzi thing. So this is like we walk a little bit up. We catch up to them walking to the same direction. And I go, hey, before I get really wasted later, I want to say I love y'all's show. You know, I listened to it religiously when it was before whatever. Or they had a deal with Wandry, Luminescent. I don't know. One of the paid podcast things. So this is where I fucked up. I go, hey, your podcast is really great. I loved when Casey came on as a guest. That was like, I like was texting Robbie like we're 7th grade girls about it. Like, oh my God, what you gonna say? They're like, oh, thanks, appreciate it a lot. And you know, it's like another thing. Like again, awesome show. Gives me the other perspective of like chicks, like real talk from chicks. Mm-hmm. And then here's where we talk about our friend Kim that needs to stop. And needs like a rolling stop. And I thought about it right as I did it. And I was like, don't say it, don't say it. I was like, yeah. And I listen to y'all like every Friday for 3 years because we're still walking right next to each other with a whole group of people. Really. And I'm like, listen to it religiously every Friday for 3 years when I was in the dumps. Loved the show. Got my mind off a bunch of shit. Really helped me out. But I stopped listening once y'all went to Wandry. And I was like, why did I fucking say that? Well, I didn't need to.
I don't listen anymore.
And then Christina Hutchinson corrected me. It was like, it's Luminary. And I was like, fuck. But didn't say it in like, it's okay, baby.
Right.
It was like, you fucking fuck, dude.
Get the brakes,
You sound like a
jackass.
guy after a stand-up show that's like, I didn't think chicks were funny, but you're pretty good.
Yeah.
You know? I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
I had
You gotta hit the brakes.
Here's the most awkward.
it keeps going.
Oh yeah. I'm at the comedians table. They didn't put me at the Tampa table. They put me at the comics table,
Ooh.
which I felt like a poser because everybody at the table was like pretty legit kind of thing. The funniest thing was the comedians laughing at like a busboy that was retarded, but they didn't know that he was mentally like. And so he's carrying all those like foldable like you fold it out, put the tray on it.
Okay.
Like a sawhorse, but like it's collapsible.
Okay.
So this big ogre handicapped guy is walking through.
Hodor.
Casey's dad is giving his father of the bride speech. Like people are like almost like bawling, just about to start crying a lot. And he walks through like 7 under each arm, and he's like, "They told me to put him over there," and like. This comics table didn't know this guy was fucked up. They're just like, what the fuck was that? And it broke up half the room was like laughing about that.
And the other half still paying attention to the speech.
Yeah. And then you could see like every third person around them like, hey, you retarded. And they were like, I don't care. Like some of them were like, I don't give a fuck. That was hilarious. I talked to.
There's 1 out of every 3 people that has eyeballs and a soul.
Oh, I talked to Aaron Berg about it later because I saw him laughing hard as shit. I listened to him on Legion of Skanks. We had a cigar outside. I was like, dude, I just love that you just were like, fuck it. That was funny as shit. And you said it louder than what the guy said.
That's fun.
And then the last part of this, and we'll close this episode out. I didn't know it was going to get into storytelling mode. Was we didn't have a lot of topics. It was like, could we call Theo Vaughn up?
Right. Well, we figured it out, didn't we? As we usually do.
Every now and again, I like one of these that are just outside the box for us. Shows we're kind of human, I guess. So Schultz and his crew from Flagrant Tours IGTV show, very recognizable. He's got like an entourage, right? Mm-hmm. Show up in the middle of the reception. No big deal. Because we're in the middle of fucking nowhere. So
yeah,
it's 3 hours from New York, I think. So all these comics, literally, I could name 40 comics, and I probably don't know another 30 that are there.
Yeah.
And so he shows up, and I see Akash Singh, who does Flagrant 2 with him. It's his co-host, and he's blowing up right now. Mm-hmm. And he's in the Indian. He just got married. He's in the Indian wedding garb. Now I've hung out with him like 10 years ago. I think he was at my house when I lived near the Tampa Improv at one point, like hanging out one night after a show, that kind of thing. And so I was like, I don't think he remembers who I am. And so he comes in late, and I look over. I was like, what's up? I give him like the head nod deal. Mm-hmm. And he comes over to me and gives me like a big hug, like a dude hug. And I'm like, the whole time I'm talking to him, I'm like, I don't think he knows who I am. Yeah. I'm like, I think he's just bullshitting me. But I can't tell, so I just have to play it through. Uh-huh. And I was like, hey, man, he didn't find this funny, or he didn't hear it because my voice was almost out. I was pretty fucked up at this point. I'm like, man, it's really good to see you. I love the Indian. The sari? It's not a sari, but what is it for a guy? He told me whatever it's called, and I was like, yeah, you look like you're in the Matrix 4, and it was like, I was like, oh man, to my face, just fake laugh and walk away. Did he? We talked for 10 minutes. And then that was how it ended. I was like, all right, I'm going to go get a drink. I'm going to go get a cigar outside.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
That makes me feel good.
Yep. Yeah. A lot of that.
Went out and just left it all out on the field.
I was fucked up.
Damaged a lot of relationships.
After the toast with the open mic lineup style where 15 people signed up, I'm kind of wasted after. I'm like, Sagalo, man, you fucking crushed tonight. I was like, wait, it's a toast. Like, this is a weird thing to like give him an attaboy.
Right. They're like, yeah, everybody crushed.
Right.
They just want you to be done.
Yeah. I'm sure I did a bunch more embarrassing shit I don't remember, but...
hey, that's good enough. It's a pretty good list.
Yeah.
You did it.
And I got with nature. I ran some laps when I got there. I was telling you it worked out. Mm-hmm. And small laps, like basically like a quarter-mile loop or whatever. And I was running uphill on a road, and there's a mom deer and a baby deer there. Oh. And I'm like, what do I do? am I supposed to scare them? This is how fucking out of it I am. I'm like, am I supposed to just fucking be cool about it? And then I just heard a Rogan podcast I was half listening to. It's like, well, don't scare the mom because she'll leave the baby behind and then it'll die because or something like that. I definitely didn't hear that correctly.
I like how you took it on yourself. What do I do?
No, I was like, I don't know what to do because
You don't got to do nothing.
okay. Part of me is like, and I'm runner's high at this point, so I'm like kind of delirious. And I'm like, well, if I start running away, are they gonna fucking run after me? Like that kind of stupid, intrusive thought.
Yeah.
You're like,
And deer up there, there's so many fucking deer. It's not even if the mother does leave it and it dies, it's not a big deal.
came
They got
through my
plenty of
head.
deer.
I was like, fuck them. It's just a
Fuck
fucking
'em.
numbers game, bro.
Yeah, no. If
They
you
run
can't
into-
survive
they stand in
a
front of
Law
cars
Smith
all the
jog,
time.
then you can't survive out there.
And then I tried to get them on. I tried to record a story to get them in the background. I couldn't do it.
Of course.
I was like, they're looking at me. I'm just gonna go back the way I came.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty good. Pretty good weekend.
That's how you embarrass yourself. But embarrassing yourself gets you out of your own ego. So,
That's for sure.
it was one of those things where it's funny to kind of, it was a good weekend, even though I was like, God damn it, why did I do that? A lot.
It's fine. Now that you're out, now it's over.
And shout out to
Whole episode's worth of content.
Key West Comedy Club, did that on the second half of the week last week. And Legit Club, everyone's super nice. Weird set for me, for sure. Because I
told him all
day
those
drinking all day.
vasectomy jokes weren't going to hit down in Key West.
Actually, probably would have because a lot of blue hairs at the show. It's not a lot of like partiers. It's a lot of old people that need something to do at night.
Not what I meant.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right. Gay guys don't want to get other gay guys pregnant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And on that,
What about my sweat equity? Sweat equity. Sweat equity. My sweat equity. My sweat equity. What about my sweat equity?